A horrible tragedy left 3 people dead and 7 people jailed. On March 18, 2024, in the northern city of Prayagraj, the parents of a woman who allegedly died by suicide set ablaze her in-laws' home. Shivani Kesarwani, Anshu Kesarwani's sister, says that around 11 p.m., 60 to 70 people showed up to their home beating them. She claimed the intruders were family members of her brother's wife, Anshika, who was found hanging at their home an hour earlier. The police, as well as the Kesarwanis, allege the woman died by suicide, but the neighbors and Anshika's family say she was murdered for dowry. The Kesarwanis had a family business dealing in timber and lived in a joint family. The ground floor and the basement were taken up by the shop and the warehouse, and the family lived above it. Each floor had 1 bedroom. Anshu lived on the top floor with his wife since their marriage a year back. His parents lived on the first floor and his sister Shivani had the second floor. Anshika usually came down around 8 p.m. for dinner, but on that day she didn't show up, so the family thought maybe she had fallen asleep. At 10 p.m. her brother came up from the store and said he went up to call his wife. Shivani said when his knocks and calls went unanswered, he broke a glass panel above the door to release the lock. He found Anshika dead. He screamed and all of us went rushing up. Anshu and his uncle reported the death to the police station. That was less than half a kilometer from their home. Anshika's parents were also informed about their daughter's death. Less than an hour later, Anshika's family turned up along with dozens of relatives, and within minutes an ugly fight broke out between the families. This will soon take an unexpected turn. After busting down the door to the room where they found Anshika's body hanging, they confronted the Kesarwani family, accusing them of harassing Anshika for dowry. The verbal confrontation quickly escalated into physical violence, with Anshika's family members allegedly setting fire to the house and locking the door from the outside. Meanwhile, below, families were fighting between one another, some of who had no idea the house would be ablaze. The timber stored in the ground floor and the basement burnt furiously, trapping Shivani, her parents, and aunt. Luckily, Shivani and her aunt broke the window of the second floor and crawled out to safety to the adjoining house, which belongs to her uncle. Sadly, and not so lucky, her parents would not be able to escape. When firefighters, who took more than 3 hours to put out the blaze, entered the house around 3 a.m., they found the elderly couple's charred bodies. Wiping away tears, Shivani said, "My mother was found sitting on the steps. She was carried to the mortuary in a sack." According to police officials, 7 people, including Anshika's father and uncle and their son, have since been arrested. They remain in jail for now. They also say that Anshika's father has lodged a counter-complaint accusing Anshu, his parents and sisters, of harassing his daughter for dowry and murdering her. Shivani denies the accusations against her family, although she admits that they had received gifts, including a car. This was given from Anshika's family at their daughter's wedding. Shivani said, "They gave whatever they wanted to their daughter. We didn't ask for anything." Shivani claims that Anshu has not returned home since the night his wife died. She says he's in hiding because with most of Anshika's relatives out of jail, he fears for his life. Dowries, both giving and accepting, have been illegal in India since 1961, but 90% of Indian marriages still involve them. Police receive thousands of complaints of harassment of wives every year, and crime data shows 35,493 brides were killed in India between 2017 and 2022 for bringing in insufficient dowry. Now, since the fire, there isn't much left of Shivani's home. Soot covers the walls and ashes cover the floor. Shivani went to live with her uncle next door. She said, "I want justice. My life is ruined. My home and family are gone. I want a free and fair investigation, and everyone who's found guilty must be punished." She also adds, "Why did they burn the house down? How would we find any evidence now?" Shivani doesn't leave out her anger towards law enforcement either. She says, "There were at least 24 policemen outside our home, but no one went in to save my parents. They just stood and watched." But one officer says, quote, "No one anticipated the house would be set on fire. It was totally unexpected. We called the fire service immediately. We also helped rescue 5 people." Now, as horrible as this is for Shivani and her side of the family, the tragedy has also affected Anshika's family. A member of her family says, All my family is in jail. My sons, my grandsons. They killed Anshika and hanged her to make it look like a suicide. He adds that when Anshika visited him last, she told us that she was being harassed. We told her to stay put to adjust. We told her things would get better. The Kesranis are a reputed family described as humble, friendly, and helpful. Their neighbors are still shocked with the events that unfolded that night. One neighbor said, "They're very good people. We can't even begin to imagine how this could happen. They are not people who get embroiled in brawls. We don't know who lit the fire, but anyone would lose their mind on seeing their daughter's body." A woman in the neighborhood says Anshika was a very well-behaved, lovely girl and describes her family as very simple, incapable of the gruesome crime they are being accused of. She also goes on to state, "It's unfortunate that her parents-in-law died in the fire. But what makes me really sad is that no one is talking about what happened to Anshika. How did she die?" I too am curious about her death. I think her family deserves to know. However, Shivani said something that still makes me question the situation. If Anshika was murdered, most, if not all of the evidence is gone with the fire. Which makes me wonder if some of the members of her family have something to do with her death. Regardless of the cause, what happened to Anshika is tragic, and I hope she is remembered not for the events that unfolded that night, but for the kind person she was. I also hope that Shivani's parents are resting in peace. What happened to them is devastating and should not have escalated to such extreme violence. What are your thoughts on the case? What went so wrong here? Thank you for watching, and for now, take care and stay safe.